Secret Wars, the very first major comic event at Marvel. Secret Wars was the first time Marvel brought together all its major characters into one massive story. Before we go into the stories, it's important to note that there are multiple Secret Wars storylines. Starting with the 1984 Secret Wars, written by Jim Shooter, the story introduces the Beyonders.
Who are you? I am from beyond.
A cosmic entity teleporting all the greatest Marvel heroes and villains to a patchworld planet called Battleworld with one intention: to see them fight. This is where the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man are put up against some of their greatest enemies like Galactus, Ultron, and Dr. Doom. Captain America leads all the heroes, Magneto gets put on the hero side, and Dr. Doom plans on overthrowing the Beyonder and taking his powers. That's the gist of it, and of course Spider-Man gets his iconic black symbiote suit in the first Secret Wars. The next important Secret Wars released in 2015 and had an epic plot written by Jonathan Hickman. The story starts with the Illuminati trying to stop universes from smashing into each other, known as incursions. The group tried everything, including using the Infinity Gauntlet and other world-breaking powers, but nothing worked. Incursions destroyed the entire multiverse, and Dr. Doom used Molecule Man to kill all the Beyonders and take their power to make his own version of Battleworld, where he ruled as God Emperor Doom, the strongest version of Dr. Doom in the comics. Reed Richards luckily survived too and convinced Doom to give him the power of the Beyonders, which Reed then used to rebuild the multiverse. Every Marvel fan has watched Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, and the Infinity Gauntlet story is somewhat similar, so let's move on to the House of M. House of M is an important story, but it wasn't all that enjoyable. It starts the same way as WandaVision, with Wanda going insane and creating her own reality. And that's when Professor X tapped into his telepathic abilities to bring Wanda back. But he realized there was no way to stop her other than to kill her. He called upon both the X-Men and the Avengers for an emergency meeting to discuss one chilling possibility: eliminating the Scarlet Witch as a threat. Meanwhile, Magneto and Quicksilver, Wanda's father and brother, desperately searched for a way to protect her, knowing the so-called heroes were considering killing. For some, like Captain America and Spider-Man, the idea of killing Wanda was unthinkable. But for others, including Wolverine and even Professor X, it seemed like the only way to prevent irreversible destruction. And as the battle against Wanda begun, suddenly the world changed. Mutants were no longer the minority, but humans were. And so the world was oppressing humans rather than mutants. This all ended with Wanda reverting the world back to its original state. Civil War. This is one of Marvel's biggest and most divisive events. It all starts with a group of young superheroes called the New Warriors accidentally causing a massive explosion in Stamford, Connecticut, killing 600 people, many of them kids. This triggers the Superhero Registration Act, a law that requires all superheroes to reveal their identities and work for the government. Naturally, the superhero community splits into two. Team Iron Man, who is pro-registration, led by Tony Stark. He believes heroes need training and oversight to prevent future disasters. And then we have Team Captain America, who is anti-registration, led by Steve Rogers, and he believes the law violates freedom and puts heroes' families at risk. Things escalate fast. Tony recruits Spider-Man, who reveals his secret identity to the world, and Cap forms the Secret Avengers going underground. As the war rages, Tony creates a clone of Thor, which immediately kills a hero and imprisons heroes in the negative zone. And he also recruits villains to help hunt down Cap's team. The final battle takes place in New York, where Cap is winning until he realizes the fight is destroying the city. He surrenders to prevent more destruction, and soon after, he's assassinated by a brainwashed Sharon Carter. The event completely changes Marvel. Iron Man becomes the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., Spider-Man goes on the run, and the Avengers are split apart for years. Now for my favorite event, World War Hulk. A group called the Illuminati that we discussed earlier decided Hulk was too dangerous, so they shot him out into space. Instead of him landing on an empty planet, Hulk ends up on Sakaar, a brutal gladiator world. Yes, the same one from Thor Ragnarok. Hulk becomes a champion, overthrows the tyrant ruling planet, and finally finds peace. Then his ship explodes, killing his wife and unborn children. Hulk assumes the Illuminati are responsible, and now he's pissed. He returns to Earth, stronger than ever, bringing his war-bound army with him. He single-handedly defeats the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and even Black Bolt. Hulk takes over New York, forcing heroes to fight each other in a gladiator arena. He's about to execute the Illuminati when Sentry shows up, and they beat each other senseless until Hulk finally calms down. It turns out the ship explosion wasn't the Illuminati's fault. It was one of Hulk's own war-bound members who had betrayed it. Now for Secret Invasion. For years, Skrulls had been secretly replacing key Marvel characters, and when their invasion began, the paranoia tears apart the superhero community. The Skrulls attack Earth in full force, and even gods like Thor and Hercules struggled to stop them. Eventually, the real heroes unite, and Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, lands the final shot, killing the Skrull Queen. Because of this, he's put in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the world trusts him, which is a terrible idea that leads to the big next event, dark reign. After taking out the Skrull Queen, Osborn becomes the most powerful man in America. He shuts down S.H.I.E.L.D. and replaces it with Hammer, basically his own evil Avengers team. And instead of heroes, his dark Avengers include him as Iron Patriot, Venom as Spider-Man, Bullseye as Hawkeye, the guy from the Daredevil shows that literally kills people for fun, Daken, Wolverine's son, Ares the God of War, Moonstone as Miss Marvel, and the Sentry. Real heroes like Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America go into hiding. Osborn managed to convince the public that he was running a legitimate Avengers team, but behind the scenes he was torturing heroes. Iron Man wiped out his own mind to keep his tech out of Osborn's hands. Spider-Man stayed in hiding, and Nick Fury recruited a team of young heroes called the Secret Warriors to fight back. By now, Osborn is full villain mode and sets his sight on Asgard, which is floating above Oklahoma for some reason. With Loki whispering in his ear, Osborn decides to invade Asgard. Osborn, leading his Dark Avengers and Hammer army, launches an all-out attack on Asgard. Thor and the real Avengers fight back, leading to an epic war, but here's the problem. The Sentry has the ability to become the Void, a cosmic-level horror with god-killing power. Second Osborn loses control of him, the Sentry transforms into the Void and goes on a rampage. From Civil War to Siege, Marvel has thought of some really intriguing stories that have built up the Marvel Universe as we know it today. Thank you for watching.